This is an environmental piece because without our environment we have nothing. Time is passing away. It is with these real eyes I see a squint through narrow slits, infiltrating bits of wind-silted storm, blowing the dust of smog-laden disgust. Holocaustic heaps of erosion's dune, piled up dunes of shifting shapes surround jagged tree stumps, remnants of what once was. Monolithic prehistoric graveyard markers stabbing the otherwise barren plains of time's lifeline. A winding wind's whistling, trilling intonation in mind, death calling a sad, melancholy, mournful, hornful tune plays taps. An amazing grace is hanging in the air, sung by a ghostly choir. A hearse is coming, echoes a corpse, to haul away the ashen residue of mankind. Desolate is the pending gloom, a hovering skeletal vulture that looms of leafless branches, trapped by poisonous greenhouse gases. A coffin laid to rest. Water, rain, rivers, words becoming archaic language, hieroglyphic, apocalyptic, planetary, Gil Scott-Heron prophecy, and I quote, "And now democracy is ragtime on the corner, hoping for some rain. And now it's winter in America." So if democracy is fading away, and if time is passing away, then surely there is still a way to see reality through real eyes. And with our minds, realize the difference of what is true and what are real lies.
This isn't much, but I'd like to offer this reading in honor of Representative John Lewis. Called Future of Civilization. Nothing wrong with fragments. That's what things are. That and stitching. Stitching implies a stitcher, one who selects the pieces, intends to join, finds a way to make this out of that. Patterns out of remnants, connection out of intention, stitching out of time. Remnants don't return, patterns don't emerge, but for the stitch, something else to make it out of, and someone with the skill and will to mend the world.
Yeah.
If I broke your name, I apologize.
I didn't hear it, so. This poem is still cooking, and it's about violence. Functional unfixedness. Functional fixedness, the cognitive bias that limits a person to viewing or using an object only in its intended fashion. The classic test, when given one candle, one box of tacks, one booklet of matches, and the task of affixing the lit candle to a wall, the functionally fixated will not see the box emptied of tacks as the able candle holder it could be. When did we miss the vigil in a candle, the prison in a box, the derision of a wall? How many fiery crosses do you count in the book of matches? What is the point of attack? Don't forget the lynch in a rope, the drag in a tow hitch, the crucifixion of chain link. Remember, a skirt is a declaration of sex, and how a hoodie is a tombstone.
Wow.
Can I leave the wire hangers hanging in the closet instead of my body? Can a picket be both a sign and a fence? Point me to the safety in your pin, safety, cock, striker, hammer, pin, trigger warning. Is that a gun in your pocket, or either is a weapon?
Wow.
When the lines are crossed in stars and stripes, the flag flies south and swaps red and white pointed hoods for baseball caps.
Thom, the world poet.
Yes, sir. Thom.
Alternative inauguration poem, 1216. Declaration of Interdependence. We, the people of the ununited states, in order to create a more perfect union, will meet whenever and wherever we can to compound our happiness together. We pledge to disavow alienation, paranoia, narcissism, solipsism, and fear, and to affirm cooperation, creative alliances, and positive public role modeling. All are welcome in our circles, spirals, parabolas of gatherings together. We leave behind historical horizontal power plays and seek equality of input. We choose to be responsive and responsible for our personal and collective decisions. We are part of two- and four-legged, bird, winged, and flying creatures under, over, above, and within this one and only Earth. We are also compassionate for all of our human species, whether in war, peace, or neutral zones. We affirm our desire to live together without walls, within family, clan, tribe, and other unions. We assemble in art and music and poetry and community and individually to further the best in our threaded lives. We affirm peace as practice, harmony as verb, love is a life sentence punctuated by periods. This is a preliminary and tentative improvisation requiring your additional affirmations. All means all of us, because you were seen at a peace demonstration. You were observed at a vigil for trees. You campaigned for whales and dolphins and dogs to be set free from SeaWorld captivity and all animals from circuses. You argued against drone killings and assassinations. You were also seen in independent coffee shops and libraries and bookstores like this, laughing with others of your species and at the idiocies of the incoming regime. You all signed petitions against their irrational appointments. You went online to satirize their cartoon leaders. You made public pronouncements denouncing oil, gas, and fracking industries. You even installed solar energy cells on the roof of your only home to prepare for a non-fossil fuel future. You were seen as one of many, taking immediate and practical steps to build a culture of alternatives, to influence others to think and feel for themselves. How do you plead?
I really appreciated the first comments made today about Beowulf and about heroes and about Wigolf, who wasn't the hero, who worked his way around to the side of the dragon and probed his ribs with his sword. The most moving part of The Lord of the Rings is when the guy who's not a hero picks up the hero and carries him into Mordor. You don't have to be a hero, but you got to keep moving. You got to keep leaning against the wind and never, ever, ever stop. I had some of these printed up. Lamar Smith is a climate denialist. Put it on your car if you want it. I'll leave a stack over there. Do something. We all need to do something. Sometimes I don't do a lot of political poetry, and I've groused at times about preaching to a choir, but oh my God, what a choir. So what I'm going to do here is read a prayer. And for those of us who are not Christians, take it for what it is. And for those of us who are, it's praying for a miracle. Oh Lord, please grant our new president, Donald Trump, wisdom and mercy. We ask in your holy name. And Lord Jesus, our Savior, please give him judgment and kindness. We ask in the name of the Father. And, O Lord, grant him impulse control and let him walk in your way at 3 in the morning to the glory of your name. O God, who parted the Red Sea, please rend the curtain of ignorance from the president's eyes and let him see the truth that he denies. As for that Jesus Christ Almighty, let him get some grasp of reality and not just make stuff up. We humbly implore you. And while we're asking, O Creator of the universe, May the Donald act always toward the least of his brethren as he would have acted toward you. On Palm Sunday, at least, while you were big in the polls, not on that Friday when your ratings crashed, they hung you up with all the losers and a bunch of fat chicks wailing at the foot of the cross. O Lord, let us preserve our republic and do good in your name. And let our president glorify your name above all others, even his own, though it mark every skyscraper and casino in Babylon, and even your holy temple that really you overpaid for. Not good. May he renegotiate eternity itself. May he finally pay the contractors who build walls and gates a camel can't get through. O Lord, let us not get lost on our path to you, and deliver us from the evil one by day and night, and shelter us from his cyber attacks. And grant us, as your will is done, a leader with large soul and hands devoted to your service. We ask you humbly and in your name. Amen.
David Young.
People wonder why I dress up like this. I think it's because nobody will interpret me to be a Republican. Have you ever seen a Republican look like a patriot? I think it's few and far between. And I wear this flag because I earned the right to wear it. I serve my country, unlike Donald Trump. So, this poem is not about I. It's about we as a poet society. We the people are not one in singularity, but this plurality of total inclusion. We are not just mansions, but comprehensive neighborhoods and countryside composition framework. This total nation of inclusive diversity. We are country, city, and state, United States of America. Sea to tropical Hawaii, from Mexico to Canada, and the state of Alaska, all star-spangled banner. We are the very poor, we are the ultra-rich, in theoretical equality, from the homeless onto our billionaires. All voters must be respected by popular representation. We, the people of this constitutional America, we are not one, we are not two, three, we are not small groups, any one political party. We must not be divided by hatred and bigotry, but united by universal love. For within this great nation, in times of civil strife, we must hold hands as we, the people.
This poem borrows a couple of lines from a Rage Against the Machine song.
Cool.
You know what I've been realizing lately that I really, really like? Rage. Not the band, well, yes, the band, who am I kidding, but anger. I've always thought that anger was very productive, like a fire. It gets rid of something, destroys it, makes it into smoke. But gas is a state of matter after all. Smoke. I wish I was that light. I wish I was that light. I ain't all the time, most of the time, but I'm realizing that anger is. Mama, mama, I'm angry, and the child breaks into weeping. Baby, I'm angry, and you see how elastic love is, how far it will stretch. God, I'm angry, and you walk away from the altar, but you'll be back. Mr. President, I am angry, and the people take the damn streets, take the streets. Don't you see? This is light. This is anger. Anger. So I'm running down Rodeo, and they say anger management, and I say manage your anger. Now don't Cuckoo's Nest Clockwork Institute Happy Little Pill manage to make it something, to speak angrily but truthfully, to live vehemently, to choose carefully, to love largely. so we can manage. I've been realizing lately that I like anger, that it is the pyre upon which all the hate of the world will burn. So manage your anger, build yourself a fire, engulf this damn city, engulf the damn continent, let it burn, make it burn, un incendio gigante. I like anger. So at night I'm on my bicycle, blasting rage and flashing peace signs, rolling down Rodeo to a quiet and peaceful death. Thank you.
Thank you, Firestone.
You do have the right to remain silent, America. When the polls open up once again, let the battle-scarred face of this earth show its utter disdain for the dreamers of yore who waged many a war and launched every fruitless campaign to reap justice for all. Did you hear freedom's call? Sit back, though. Let it catch the next train. There's no rush, no good time, and no reason to push for much more than what's pleasing. Silly you, silly me. The mere thought of what's free will too quickly be priced out of season.
Ginselda Castillo. Credit for that.
Thank you. So I'm reading a poem by Vasco Popa, who is a poet from what is now Serbia. It was in his collection No Rest Field that was published in 1965, and I was stunned at how relevant it is today. It's called A Conceited Mistake. Once upon a time, there was a mistake so silly, so small, that no one would have ever noticed it. It couldn't bear to see itself, to hear of itself. It invented all manner of things just to prove that it didn't really exist. It invented space to put its proofs in, and time to keep its proofs, and the world to see its proofs. All it invented was not so silly, nor so small, but was, of course, mistaken. Could it have been otherwise?
Christia? Yeah. I'm from Arkansas.
So I was thinking this morning about the fact that the transfer of power actually comes down to 35 words. This is longer than that, but it's about the words that are actually said when the president-elect takes the oath of office. On the occasion of the inauguration, let it be known that on this day, the hand that newly holds the mace is not my choice. The man who would claim to take the office to represent us united believes himself appointed by a golden-eyed God. His creed, the flawed illogic of privilege and greed. We've already seen enough. We've already seen enough to know the stakes. So today I'll break my silence and swear to you, I will not abide this fraud. But to the best of my ability, I will preserve, protect, and defend stability.
Thank you, Battistoni.
This is a how-to in case you need it. How to, you might need it more in the coming years. Okay? So, how to deflect a misogynist troll on a thread for women.
Yesterday, me and some friends were discussing via a Facebook thread the lack of women on the recent viral albums influential to your teenage years lists, and this guy pops up and tells us nobly to get the sand out of our, and I quote, vajayjays, and to go practice, and that if we're good at that stuff, we wouldn't ever have to complain. Also, that we should just quit bitching. So I typed this up in response, in easy list form, so that he might comprehend. Number 1, your use of language is as inaccurate and puerile as it is gross and pathetic. Number 2, if you are an interesting man with original ideas, which is doubtful, there's no circumstance under which the increased successes of interesting women with original ideas will threaten your art. A point which is currently, unfortunately, not as plain true in reverse, but prejudice exponentially compounded through time, which is maybe a concept too hard for you. Number 3, extreme examples of legislative misogyny in other societies and the quotidienne bigotry women musicians face in our society are not separate events but related scenes on the continuum of the same gender power struggle that predates history. Number 4, female identifying musicians who are vocal about that shit, like me, spend our whole lives practicing and honing our craft, just like you do, because we, like you, believe tirelessly that knowledge and exploration of voice and style and technique are essential to communication and truth in the beautiful human art form of music. But on top of these rudimentary mechanical connections, we also understand, unlike you and your la la land, that music, like everything on the planet, is not apolitical and above the human conditions in which it is created. And we know that to think otherwise is a willfully ignorant and dangerous delusion that sadly many white men put themselves under, men who are terrified of being displaced from the first chairs in their conductors' platforms, men who are saying, la la la, can't hear you, men who are so ashamed that they blinded themselves from truth long ago, deluded, terrified, ashamed, bratty, sad men, who also happen to be the whiny voices who feebly yet incessantly brand the very real battles to diminish charted factual discrepancies in our field as emotional or female. Hey brats, the fact versus emotion debate is tired as fuck. It's fucking pathetic and laughable that anyone thinks a struggle involving millions of people over hundreds of years can be divided into such primitive categories. The fact is, out of 50 or so people whose album lists I saw, less than 5 had more than 20% women. That's like 2% influential women overall. How's that for a fact? And how's this for one final fact in this sad case of measurable contemporary bigotry? You, a logical, grown man in the 21st century, got so emotional around the word vagina that you had to use an infantile euphemism most 3-year-old girls wouldn't dream of uttering. Oh, and one more thing, number 5. I just want to laugh in your fucking face. Ha 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 ha.
Thank you, Joy Kingdom.
Okay, well, I know I shouldn't have written Donald Trump a poem for this event because of the fact that he doesn't deserve one. But I prepared a little something. Hey Tom, do you mind if I borrow your reading glasses for a minute?
Sure, go through. Trust me, work. Very well.
All right. Fuck you!
So, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for speaking up and being who you are. And please continue being that. I really, really think that Justin deserves a huge round of applause. You guys have chosen Malvern to have this event at, because it comes from our heart. We feel very much this way. And remember, please come spend money next Friday, because for once you're not giving it to me, you're giving it to Planned Parenthood next